Welcome to the HRSimplified Manager User Manual. We will start by looking at the URL that you can use to access the system, HRSimplified.org client account login. You would use the username that has been supplied to you by your HR executive on the system and the password. You can start here by forgetting password. If you do a forget password, to retrieve a new password, and also remember me. Let's start. We start off with seeing exactly the same dashboard that an employee would see. All users on the system has got the access to the dashboard, and that allows them to see their own information. I won't be going into too much detail here, except for the fact that you can approve applications that's been sent to you for approval. Other than that, your annual balances, your leave is displayed at the top. You have your action items like applying for leave, submitting a claim, the medals, that kind of thing, and back to the COVID, reporting a COVID infection. You can also see the COVID details, exactly the same as an employee user. As I said, the only difference is that with having a manager or a employee user that has people reporting into them, you would see leave applications coming through. So for an employee that has now sent leave to a manager, the manager will log in. If that person reports to the manager will see the leave request here at the bottom. You can go see this is annual leave that's been submitted by the employee. It's for 6 days. I can now go click manage, which will show me the details about that, when it starts, when it ends. It's a duration of 6 days. Remember, I would have received an email from the system to notify me of this leave that's been submitted. I can now choose, do I reject the leave or do I process the leave? If I process the leave, it will be approved. The 6 days will be deducted off the employee's annual leave, and the employee will be informed via an email. If I reject the leave, I'll be giving it a reason why we rejected it. It will also send an email to the employee to notify them, and the amount of days will not be deducted off the record. Okay, so if I process this now, it will then go and actually complete that process. You'll see it was saved successfully. That has now been removed, and exactly the same will apply for a claim. So you'll also see the claims, be it overtime or be it expense claims, and the manager can then approve those claims. If we go to dashboard, the employee, even if you are a user, still sees my profile, so you can still see your own information. You can still see your claims and your pay slips. Everything under that home section is for yourself. That's why it starts with my employee, my finance, my leave, and my documents. If we now move on to the new sections that's available only to a manager user. If we open up HR administration, I can see all employees. Now please note that these are only for the people that report into you as a manager. You will not see the entire company. You will only see the people that report into you. If there is a user that's not here that reports into you, you should let your HR administrator know that they must assign them to you. On the end of this list, you've got an action button. If you click on that, you can see that you can apply for leave on behalf of that employee. You can also add notes on behalf of that employee. So let's try a leave application. I can say for that leave, for that employee, to an annual or a family. And this is very helpful if you are doing it for an employee that does not have access to the system. Let's say a warehouse worker that does not have access to the internet or a phone or a PC. The manager can submit the leave in this format. The leave will still follow the normal employee submitting of leave process, where it will come back to the manager and ask for approval. The mails will still be sent. The accounts will still be updated. The process will follow as normal. The only difference is that it will not be the employee that submitted it, but the manager. In this case, the auditing table does record all these, and it also records who submitted the leave. So it can be investigated afterwards why certain leave was submitted for certain employees and who submitted them. You can also go to notes. This is very helpful if you would like to add a HR note for an employee. So for instance, employee did something wrong, or he did something well, or he might have done something that needs to be recorded on his HR record. You can come in here and say create. You can say what type of a note it is. Is it a warning? Is it disciplinary? Is it maybe an appraisal? Maybe something to do with a hearing that you had with him, or a retirement, something like that. You can add the dates. Free text area that can also take images if you would like, and then you can say if it's active, visible or not, and you can then send this to the save it. If you do save it and you enable visibility, then the employee user will be able to see the note. If you do not, it will only be available to the manager and the HR administrator or the HR executive role. This is very useful for capturing information about an employee during the year, so that when it comes to appraisal time, a manager can go and view all the different notes. If you go back to all employees, those are the two features that a manager user can do on an employee. Once again, keep in mind you can only see employees that do report into you. The entire system works in that way. If I go to claims and I go awaiting approval, I will only see the ones that's waiting my approval that are reporting into me. This would be the same though as the dashboard and the list that you would find at the bottom. Keep that in mind. If I go to claims again, I would say awaiting approval. So with claims, there's a two-step approval process. An employee submits it, it goes into awaiting approval, which is for the manager. The manager would see them here and he would approve them. There's a third step which is done by the finance admin user, where it is processed into payroll or processed into payment. That you will see on the finance admin role. There's also reports here for the manager to run on claims. We have exactly the same thing with leave. We can look at the calendar. This calendar will show the leave for all the people that reports into this manager. So if you have 10 staff people reporting into you, you would have 10 people's leave on one calendar. So it's nice to book it here and then be able to go through the different days to see which days you might have somebody that's on leave. You can change the view as well. You can also see how many people is on leave on the same day. Then we have leave approvals. This is a list of the leave. Once again, this would be the same as the dashboard at the bottom for leave applications. So it's just a longer way to get to it. So we have my leave, we have leave approvals. Then we also have process leave. This is leave that's already been approved. So you can see the one that I did approve a few minutes back. I can now also go manage that and see what it was about. Just out of interest sake, an employee can also reverse leave. So the employee that submitted this leave, if the leave has already passed, that employee can request a reversal of the leave, which will then also come through as an approval to the manager. It will not just be reversed. Depending on what packages you have, the manager will also have access to COVID. You will see a COVID dashboard, which shows the manager all the people in the company that could potentially have COVID based on the submission of the COVID results. You would also see all the people reporting into him, and he can capture their temperatures on a daily basis. He can say if they're in the office or not, if they have a face mask, if they're using safety clothes, if there's information about the workstation they were sitting at that needs to be captured, as well as respiratory symptoms that they might have. You can also go back in time or forward in time and look at a specific date when data was captured. The entire form gets saved by this button. So as you complete the form for the day, you can leave it open. As the first employee comes in, you would capture the information and just save. You can leave the screen open. When the second employee comes in, you would fill in their details and just click save again. The form will replace the previous values. If I go to projects, you'll see I can now create or clear a filter. I can add tasks because I'm a manager. I'm not just an employee anymore. And I can also see the tasks that are assigned to me to be able to book time on. For time and attendance, I would be able to see my own time calendar as an employee would. I can see timesheets, which is my own timesheets. I can also see my team. This will show everybody that reports into me and it's on the same level as me to see when they are booking timers for what. I can also see shifts that apply to myself. Here, because I'm a manager, I would see all the timesheet details that came through. That would be all the stop and starts from the employees. And I can then select them and submit them all for approval. Once that's been done, there's a report available, a timesheet report that will allow you to then automatically print timesheets based on those employees. And because you're also a manager user, you can also see who is currently in the company that is checked in and checked out. And these once again would only be for your own users. Talent management I will not be going into now, but this is a separate section on its own. If you need more information about that, please contact our support team.